Today I'm going to walk you through my process and how I make 3D printed decorations. This year I finally got my hands on my 3D printers once again. I hadn't had access to them since lockdown, so I really wanted to make Christmas decorations that represented my year, and a frequent theme was seahorses. Another theme was Polly Pockets and making my own, which I still haven't got round to doing, but I will do. And so basically I just wanted my tree to reflect the very strange year that is 2023. And basically I just started by sketching out some ideas in Procreate. I generally just tend to use the same pen, which I think is the monoline brush. And I try not to use too much stabilization just to keep the line a little bit shaky, but then it keeps it kind of more realistic to how I would draw on paper. Another theme was duck udon. I found a really great restaurant not too far from me that does duck udon. I love duck and I love udon, so it was like a dream come true finding it, and I really wanted to make a decoration that fit that vibe and fit that theme. So again, I'm just thinking, okay, I know that this is going to be 2D, so how can I make things that are kind of quite graphic, and thinking about the fact that I'll be using alpha textures, so the black will be really raised and then the white will be lowered. So I'm not only thinking about my themes for the year, but also how they'll translate into 3D. So this software is called NomadSculpt. It's an iPad software. And what I'm doing is I'm just using a lasso to kind of go around it and then to kind of cut out any of the excess so that I can get just the shape that I want. And it's okay that I leave a little bit at the top here, because further along I'll use that sort of stub bit that's sticking out to attach a torus to, which is basically like a donut, a sphere with a hole in it. To use that so that I can eventually loop some thread through it so that I can attach it to my tree. And what I'm doing here is I'm just going around my Ferrero Rocher with a smooth brush, just so that the alpha that I've imported from Procreate isn't super harsh. And again with the udon, I'm just going around with the lasso trim tool to basically cut out the extra bits of the cube that I don't need. And it's really up to you how much or how little you cut, but I like to leave maybe about, I don't know, 5 mils worth of space around the edge, just to, well, just that for aesthetic. There's no real reason behind it. And I try and follow the natural line that I've made with the pen in Procreate, just to give it that organic feel, because these aren't, mass-produced decorations. They're just very tiny batch-produced decorations that are kind of just for me. So yeah. And then I'm bringing them into Blender because I needed to thicken them a little bit. For some reason, however, I made them in NomadSculpt, they had no thickness. So while you can't see it, what I have done to these is I've added a solidify modifier in Blender. They still came out really, really thin, which was actually a good thing because it meant that I didn't use as much resin as I otherwise would have done. But all I'm doing here is I'm just adding a bits of color just to see what they'll look like once I kind of get a finished feel. So I'm kind of using Blender as a cheat to kind of get an advanced preview of what they could look like, but then also it's helping me to determine what colors I'll use when I eventually add, resins, colors, Posca, glitter to the finished product. So I use Elegoo resin printers, and this is my baby original printer, and he is getting started on printing some of my decorations. It's really simple. You just pour resin in and you get these as a result. I say it's really simple, it's not, but it's worth it for your trouble. And then once it's been printed and washed, I put it under a UV light to make sure that all of the resin is cured so that it's safe to touch. And then from there, I'm applying Stuart Semple's or Culture Hustles mirror glaze, mirror paint. It basically does what it says on the tin. It has a mirror finish, and it's really shiny, really shiny. I don't quite manage to get the mirror feel because my surface is slightly textured, but if you were to apply it on a smooth surface, it's like reflective. But for the purpose of having silver decorations, it works perfectly. And I'm just applying this as like a base coat to my decorations, and then from here I'm using L. Corneliusson, I believe, gold powder with something called ormaline, and basically it's the only way that I found that you can get a really realistic gold, and it's literally just a finely grained powder with ormaline, which is really strong solvent, I believe, or medium, but it's just beautiful. It's just beautiful. As you can see, this color is gold, and then throughout I've used almost every shade of gold plus copper, bronze maybe as well, and I'm just daubing it into all of the bits where the black is to kind of hide the black resin base. And it takes a bit of time, but the result that you get is worth it, and it's just making sure that you get a really nice even coverage for whatever you're working with. But as a result, you get this really nice gilded gold finish that I just love. And so there you can see different shades of gold. The udon is a copper, I believe, and it just shines and it glistens, and that's all you need really. My seahorse there. But what I really like is just being able to use all of these different softwares to translate my illustrations into 3D finished pieces that I can eventually put on my tree. And then I'm just applying Posca paint to the surface of the different decorations. So I've gone for green for this sweet little seahorse. Then I've done a UV resin base, and then I applied glitter on top, and then I've cured that. I found that the curing of the UV resin was a bit iffy, so in future versions of the decorations that I do, I switched the UV resin for Podge, which is like a kind of PVA glue. I don't know how it differs from actual PVA, but it seemed to do a better job of sticking the glitter, and it kept it shine a lot better than the UV resin glitter versions, which was strange, but you know. So if you want to use PVA glue, and then the brand of glitter that I'm using is called Hemway. I always say Hemingway, but it's Hemway, and they're really good. You can apply them to your body as well, so if you're going to festivals and things like that. But they're also really good for any type of craft because they're really glittery in a way that I don't think any of my cameras have been able to fully capture, but they catch light from every single angle, and I think they're biodegradable as well. So that's that. So yeah, I'm just making sure that I'm getting glitter into every kind of little bump and nook, and bits of resin as well. What's really good about those glitters is, I'm not sponsored by the way, but just to say that they have different exit holes. So there's obviously, you can take the lid off entirely, but then they have different, you can see it a little bit, they have different holes so you can control how much glitter comes out. And then yeah, I'm just trying different techniques. Some work better than others. So in some cases I'm brushing the glitter on, in other cases I'm just sort of daubing it on. And I try to rework some Posca in. Not super successful, but you know, sometimes it's good to just experiment and try things out and see what's going to work well for you and what's not. And then we got a seahorse once again. There's a lot of seahorse footage. And again, just running some Posca over the raised parts of the seahorse, bringing that UV resin into the kind of lower depths, and then sprinkling a lot of red glitter on top. And the same for this house. I don't know what it is, but I've just been super fascinated by kind of Polly Pocket. So imagine this is the top of a Polly Pocket and you open it up and it's got, you know, her little house inside. And then just adding resin, lots and lots of glitter. And obviously if you don't, some resin goes in like a bit that doesn't have any glue or any glitter to it, any resin, you can just shake it back out again so it doesn't stay fixed. And obviously my beloved Ferrero Rocher, I tend to prefer to have 3 of those a day, just 3, it's the right amount. And then you don't really need to have anything else to eat until lunch. So yes, I have them for breakfast. Although my dad just ate almost 2 packs worth, so I'll need to stock up again. But it's actually just really fun doing this. It's really therapeutic. The feel of the resin, you know, and the Posca going over the resin decoration is just really soothing. Spraying on the glitter is really soothing. Brushing everything. I think in total I probably did around 30 to 40 decorations because I really wanted my tree to look as full as possible. So, and then I just kind of show you like a little preview of what they all looked like. My brother thinks I should add another layer of resin on to seal the glitter. I might add some more glitter. Add glitter to my glitter. And these were very popular for people in my houses, the different peaches. They were last minute additions. The Ferreros again. The drinks. There were so many that I made in the end. I started with maybe about 12 designs. This is a little candle holder. And then here's a few of the final ones that I made. The very bright green was supposed to be an advent calendar. Made a mythical creature because I've been drawing loads of those this year. Obviously my beloved 12 chocolates. And yeah, to-do lists. I made quite a few to-do lists because that's kind of summed up my life for 2023. Writing lists and trying to find the best to-do list to draw on. It's harder than you think. So that sums up my video. I go from Procreate to NomadSculpt to Blender to Elegoo Mars or Saturn to a physical print that I resin, Posca and glitter. Please check out other videos on my channel and please have a look at my Spotify page for all of my music. It's called Alpha Arcturia, link in description.